Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Green Industry Podcast. Today, we're interviewing a newer business owner. It's my friend Allen LaMere. He is up in Boston and looking forward to hearing your stories and about your business. I know you got a lot of crazy stories, so we're gonna get started with those. But welcome to the program, Allen.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I love your Boston accent.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Pe-
So,
people always know where I'm from, unfortunately,
oh yeah,
or
it's very
fortunately, the
distinct.
way you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Boston sports, y'all have had a nice little run there with the Patriots all those years, the Celtics. Back when you had like Paul Pierce and those guys. Are you a Boston sports fan or?
Yeah, so huge fan. Grew up playing sports my whole life, going to sporting events, especially before I had a wife and kids. I had season tickets or 10 game packages to every sport, just going to all the games. I was actually in the Garden when the Celtics won in '08.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. An experience.
Yeah, and then you got Fenway Park. I didn't go inside of it when I visited Boston, which I didn't realize Boston's a city with all these like red brick buildings, and it's like you're in a
Yeah.
movie. And then my friend from Kubota took me to Fenway Park, not inside, but outside, and it's so historic. I mean, I've never seen a sports venue like Fenway Park in any sport.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember being a kid and when you walk up the corridor into the field and you see the like the green grass, like it's just huge when you're a child. And it's like kind of like takes your breath away. I kind of lost some of that now, but it's good to see my kids go through it and it's such a big event. It's a little different now, they're not as good, but being a kid, it was a very cool park to go to.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Boston. Now we're going to get into your lawn care business story, and how many years have you been in business? Is this your second full season?
This is my second full year. Yeah.
Okay. And we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you guys want to drop us a comment, I can see those, and we'll give you a shout out, let you know where you're watching from. And of course, we have a listening audience all across the world on Apple and Spotify. So thank you guys for listening over there. But what's your craziest story, Alan? I know we bump into each other in Atlanta and in all different cities, Louisville, and you know we're always going to the same events. But you're always telling me these crazy stories of how you just seem to be at the right place at the right time. What's your craziest story?
So, me and one of my best friends growing up, excuse me, we kind of snuck into a lot of places, a lot of events. You'd get a ticket to get in, and then if like certain checkpoints at the stadiums or wherever, you'd just kind of act like you've been there before and just kind of walked right by people. So, I mean, we used to sneak up onto the garden, up into the garden, we'd get access into like areas at the Boston Garden where you probably shouldn't be allowed. It's a little strict now, but I remember growing up and you just walk right past security. Next thing you know, you're like outside the locker room or underneath like the regular seating levels. Or one time we ended up inside the Nesson Studios at Fenway Park by accident.
Now, what are those at Fenway Park with your accent? I couldn't hear what
Oh,
you
so
said.
the Nesson Studios, they're the people that Nesson's the company that puts on like the show, the production
Okay.
channel. And we just kind of snuck into a door. We didn't really know what was going. Next thing you know, we're inside a broadcast studio, and there's Tom Karen and some other people, and we just kind of hung out there until we realized we probably shouldn't extend our stay.
Now, is your name on some list in Boston where you're not allowed to enter the garden anymore, or that you never got caught?
No, I never got caught. Just act like you've been there, and you can get into places you probably shouldn't.
Now, with and for those of you who don't follow the NBA, the garden that's your guys's. Is it called the TD Garden or something like that? That's your
It's the
guys.
TD Garden now. Yeah, it used to be the Boston Garden
Okay.
way back in the day, and then they
And
tore that down.
they had a really distinct floor. I remember it looked different than all the other arenas. It looked like the wood was
Yeah,
from like 1912.
yeah, it's a parquet floor. Um,
What does that mean?
it's just like the different each tile kind of goes up and down. They have a bowl gang that goes in because the Bruins play there. So in a few hours, they can take it from a basketball arena to like a NHL arena because the ice is always underneath the parquet floor.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
So when the Boston Celtics are playing, there's actually ice underneath that,
yeah,
but it's lifted up so the ice isn't making the guy slip or whatnot.
yeah. So like actually, when it used to be the regular Boston Garden, it used to get really foggy in there. And then back in like the 70s and 80s, it'd be a mixture of fog and smoke because the ice was underneath, and then people were smoking inside. But that was a little bit before my day. But you see the pictures.
And would the floor be cold? Like if a guy took a foul and fell down and he hit the floor, was it cold because of the ice was underneath there?
No, there's like a few inch layer. It's probably like a rubber mat or something that they put the floor onto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you're born and raised in the Boston area there?
Yeah, so we're about 45 minutes south. We live in a nice little community called Lakeville, surrounded by lakes, obviously. A lot of fishing, a lot of boating. All my friends, after high school, we all went away to college and then came back with our wives and started raising our families in the same town that we grew up in. So probably about 10,000 people, maybe a little bit more now. But there's like no traffic lights. There's no restaurants. It's basically golf, um, or ponds. But
Okay.
yeah,
Again, we're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We'd love to give you a shout out. Just let us know in the comments where you're tuning on in from, and we'll say hi. And if you have any questions for us today, we're going to kind of cover what Allen's learned in his first couple of years of running a lawn care business, and hopefully you've um, avoided some mistakes because I know you're in Naylor Taliaferro's inner circle and you're going to events. I know you came to our Lawn Care Life Conference event and you're learning at the LCR Summit event and all these various events. So hopefully your learning curve is skipping out on some of the mistakes Naylor and I made and so many of us made. But what got you into wanting to start a lawn care business, Alan?
so the first 20 years of my life, I worked in the restaurant industry. Basically working my way up from dishwasher when I was in college all the way up to the general manager. So I learned how to run a business. I learned how to manage people, how to hire. I learned how not to manage people through mistakes. Thought I was doing it the right way, but um, so now I think I have a much better understanding of how to manage people and grow leaders. So basically, I injured my shoulder playing soccer. We can get into that a little bit later, but um, and I couldn't work anymore. So I took about 6 months off from my other job, um, and I was looking around, and I'm like, I don't want to work nights and weekends anymore. I don't want to work holidays. What am I gonna do? And so one day, my wife was like, "What are you gonna do with your life?" And I'm like, "I think I'm just gonna open up a landscaping company." She's like, I was expecting her to kind of be like, "What are you insane? Like you've never done that." But she's like, "All right, go for it." So there, it started about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, back to the restaurant industry, because I used to work in the restaurant industry. I started my career at Best Burger until they fired me. That kind of tells you about where I was at in life. When you get fired from Best Burger, you kind of got a wake up call in life. But so that's a whole nother story. But then I worked at Carrabba's as a server for about 3 years until they fired me. So
Yeah.
I was 0 for 2 in the restaurant. Well, I wasn't quite cut out for the restaurant industry, but the turnover. I mean, when I worked at Carrabba's for 3 years, I can't tell you how many people came and gone, came and gone. I mean, we almost every shift there was a new server,
Yeah.
and then the turnover was just. I mean, I thought it was hard to get people in lawn care business, but restaurant was crazy. Where did you work? Was it one restaurant for 20 years, or you went? Tell us what you learned from the restaurant industry. Then after that we'll go into the lawn care. But I feel like you have so many insights for us.
Yeah, so I worked at Ruby Tuesdays for I think 7 or 8 years. It's kind of a chain restaurant. I ended up becoming a corporate trainer, and I travel around New England, opening restaurants. Sometimes it would be like a 2 week thing. Sometimes it would be 2 months that you'd go and stay there. Um, And then eventually I started working in at a casual fine dining restaurant, which is it's not a franchise; it's a local company owned by a family. And there, we didn't have a lot of turnover because we all did pretty well.
Mhm.
We managed it well. The food was really good. But with the restaurant industry, you're not making a lot of money unless you're really utilizing all your numbers like food cost, how to drive sales, how to increase revenue during non-peak times. So you kind of learn how to run a business, the numbers of it, and you're also learning, most importantly, how to manage people, how to hire people, the correct people, and
Mhm.
it ended up turning into hiring people that were going to be a good fit,
Mhm.
and keeping them as no matter what you could do, just to try to keep them.
Mhm.
So it's kind of what I've turned this into with
Mhm.
those tips.
Now, hiring in any business, specifically restaurants and lawn care, you're not. I gotta be very delicate how I say this, Alan, but you're not dealing with like the most top of the line, like people that are super educated. A lot of times, at least my coworkers at Carrabba's, a lot of these people had some rough edges, if you know what I mean. And in lawn care, somebody who comes out to mow grass for a living as their job, it's not. Um, I'm being very careful with my words here, but our selection of workers, of laborers, is scarce. So how did you find the right people, and what kind of questions were you asking to vet them, to avoid wasting your time and their time?
Yeah, so my first hire last year, it was just me and one other person. He's a fellow soccer coach with me, and he was looking for a job, and he's about my age. I'm 45 now, but we both have the same interests. We're both family people. We both coach sports. We're heavily involved with that. So, like, we don't work. Well, this time of year, I kind of do, but we don't work a lot of late hours. We don't work a lot of weekends just because we're too busy with family. Family's always first. That's why I got into this. And then from there, I'm basically looking to hire people that want a future, that want to have some sort of stake in the company, some sort of ownership, not just someone that wants to mow lawns for a living. I want someone that wants to create a career. We actually live right near an agricultural high school. It's probably about 10 or 15 miles away. And one of their majors at that high school, it's kind of like a trade school, is landscaping,
Wow.
landscape design, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I've kind of tapped into that. My newest hire, he started for me last week. He just graduated.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is
So
golden.
yeah.
That is
So
huge.
he's already running a lawn care company on the side, but he doesn't know how to. Um, I'm not saying I know how to either, but I can share with what I've learned with him. Um, so he's going to work for me part time. I'm going to teach him how to do things responsibly, like make sure he's licensed, make sure he has insurance, make sure he's charging the correct amounts, make sure he knows the right techniques, how to be efficient. And even if I only keep him for a year, if I can pour into him what I know, and then he turns that and does something and changes his family tree, and then helps other his employees, that's my goal. I want to help people create better lives, not just a job. I want them to create careers.
Yeah, totally. Well, your origin story, you can get out of the restaurant business. You tell your wife, "I'm thinking about starting a landscaping business." How did you start then with your first customer? Where did your first few customers come from? And then how did you go about getting equipment and educated? And obviously you got connected with some really good people like Naylor and his inner circle and stuff like that. So how did you find out about our community? Because we've all been friends, for a long time. I mean, I've known Naylor for over a decade, and so many of the other mutual friends we have. But how did you kind of find out about our little community?
So I think the whole idea came from I was watching YouTube and I saw Brian Fullerton and then Cornell Mack, and I'd start watching their channels, and I'm like, I've always kind of loved working with my hands. either woodworking. I built pools for a season with my one of my best friends. He owns a really big pool company. That was pretty hard work when it's hot out. But so I learned, like, I've always liked to start something and see the end finished product. So kind of working in a restaurant industry, it paid the bills, and eventually I thought maybe I'd like to open my own restaurant, but it's so risky. Um, in that industry, I just never did it. But I saw a future with lawn care and landscaping, and so basically watching Brian Fullerton on YouTube and Cornell Mac, and I was like, that's where the idea came from. So I just poured everything. That was 2.5 years ago in October. So I spent all winter getting ready for my first season, which was last spring. Trying to learn how to market, how to buy equipment, how to finance. Like I said, I'm 45 years old, so I'm kind of like at the midway point of my life. So me and my wife, she has a really good job. She's a nurse. So we have money. We have some money that we were able to take and invest into a truck and a trailer. I made a decision to buy new equipment. I don't want to buy used equipment and have it in the shop. And then, so I bought a zero turn, a John Deere.
There you go.
Yeah, that was good. And then I saw some people's channels and they had the Toro Multiforce, and I was like, a light off went on in my head. I'm like, I need to be more efficient with what I do things. So with the Multiforce, I'm able to, I have the mulch dump on there, the leaf blower, the dethatcher, the aerator. That thing's a workhorse, and it cuts well too. And then I quickly realized if I'm going to have a mowing route, I need to have, if I have 2 employees, I need to have at least 3 mowers, redundancy, and just in case something breaks down or it's in the shop or it's getting an oil change. So I just kept reinvesting money last year into new equipment. So now we have 2 trailers, 3 mowers. I'm about to buy a 4th, and I have a Toro spreader sprayer for my fertilization.
Are your trailers open and closed? And can you fix your camera real quick, Alan, so your head's kind of equal to mine? There you go.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
Well done. Tell us about
so we have
trailers.
so we have an enclosed trailer for our mowing route, and then I have an open trailer for my fertilization accounts, and we can also run a second mowing crew with that now. So on the open trailer, I have the hose reel with the spray tank, and then last year we started off with only about 14 lawns, I think, that I was doing fertilization for. I grew that this year. I'm up to 70. I'm almost at 2 million square feet per round, which is awesome. Last year I was at about 200,000. So I'm going to focus on doing fertilization, weed control, and then I'm going to use my weekly mowing accounts to get like landscape enhancements, so mulch, trimming, spring cleanups, fall cleanups. So this winter I basically learned I need to create like a ideal client profile or avatar, and so now I'm going to be on your property and I'm going to do everything, and you're not going to have to reach out to anybody else. So
I love that. So you'll mow edge, trim below, throw down the mulch, do the fertilization and weed control, and be a one-stop shop. Very, very convenient. I love it.
Yeah, it's working well. The biggest thing I think with clients that they want is communication, and they don't want to have to worry about anything. So if somebody hires me, my goal is to gain their trust right away, to do a great job, so that they come home every day from work, or they can go away all week and then come back on the weekends and enjoy their lawn with their family, or have a cookout and not have to worry about anything, and everything's seamless.
That's so good. Again, we're live on YouTube here. We're live on Facebook. If you guys want to let us know where you're watching, you can drop a comment there. So when you started, though, you had 0 customers.
Yeah.
And how did you go about getting the first customer and the second customer? Because there's a lot of people that listen to our show that DM me on LinkedIn, on all the platforms, and like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a lawn care business, and it's like they get so analysis paralysis, and they just like, you just kind of jumped in and went for it. And I think honestly, that's the best way you got to do this. So some of these people from the corporate world, they're so organized and prepared, and they overthink everything. But how did you just kind of jump into the pool, so to speak, and get your first customer and get your second one and be in business? Because you're really not in business until you have customers. So that's when it gets real.
Yeah, so last winter, like I said, I spent all winter learning about marketing and YouTube University, listen to podcasts, stuff like that. So I did a few cleanups in the fall, the year before, just to get some Google reviews. I did a good job. I probably didn't charge enough, but I did a really, really good job. But then I picked up a bunch of clients in town that lived on corners of the neighborhoods I wanted to get into. I talked to them. Either I knew them from being around town or from sports, or I just went and said, hey, if you're looking for a lawn care company, let me help you out, and you can help me out. I'll do the best job I can, but I want people in your neighborhood to see the work that I'm doing, and I want to grow. So I'll give you a pretty good deal, and let's see if we can make this work. So I did a lot of work for a lot of people that lived either on main roads or, like I said, the corners of the neighborhoods that I wanted to get into. And I made sure I did the best job I possibly could. And it just grew from there. A lot of Google reviews worked out well. I think I have over 70 reviews already. And I really pushed for that. I asked everybody for a Google review. So now I'm at the top of that. So last February, I think I only had 2 mowing clients going into April. And I was like, I think I made a big mistake because I had already bought the truck, the trailer, the mower. But then once the first nice days hit, and then people were starting to call around for quotes for mowing and stuff, I finally got pretty busy, and spring rush turned into like a spring rush. It was no joke. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I think the biggest turning point was probably last October going to Equip. And I knew I needed to learn about the business, and I knew I needed to grow, but I didn't want to do anything wrong. I didn't want to make any mistakes if I didn't have to. So I spent a lot of money on coaching or going to conferences. So I went to Equip. I joined Brian Fullerton's Link membership probably about a year and a half ago. So that had like a weekly call. So that's really how I learned to grow my lawn care company. But then going to Equip, I met all these people, all the so-called influencers like yourself, and I just quickly realized I need to make friends with these people. I need to be coached by these people. They've all done it. They know how to do it. They've all made their mistakes and they've learned from it. I need to save time because I'm 40 and I'm in my 40s. I need to shorten that learning curve. So between Nailers, Inner Circle, and going to the LCR Media conference, the summit, that was awesome.
Yeah, and shout outs to Nailers LCR Summit. So he invited me to speak at that. The first year when it was in Atlanta, the second year last year was in Louisville, and he invited me to speak at it again this upcoming year, 2025. So he's going to have it on Monday, October 20th, and then Tuesday, October 21st. And it's in Louisville, right? The 2 days before the Equip Expo starts. So if you guys are thinking about taking your business to the next level, I would highly recommend spending the whole week in Louisville, Kentucky. Monday, October 20th at Nailers LCR Summit. Tuesday, October 21st at Nailers LCR Summit. Then that evening, they actually have the opening reception for the Equip Expo, which is at Churchill Downs, which is the Kentucky Derby racetrack. And then the Equip Expo will be all day Wednesday, October 22nd You can double check my dates. This is going off the dome here, as the rappers say. Thursday, October 23rd, and then Friday, October 24th, year 2025. But I just think that week in Louisville, between Naylor's events, more educational, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at Equip is just seeing how big the industry is and how many excellent manufacturers there are, from John Deere and Toro to all these great companies that we have in our industry. And then you're just around thousands of other people that are trying to grow their small business, whether they're in fertilization and weed control or lawn care, or, I do media, but it's all based off of the green industry. So just being around all these great people is amazing. What would you say, as somebody who went last year? How much did it move the needle for you and help you? And are you going back this year?
Yeah, so I'll be flying in Sunday. I'm going to go to the LCR Summit again. Last year I went to the VIP dinner. That was life-changing. I mean, talking to Jonathan Potoshnik for 2 hours and sitting right next to Stanley Dirt Monkey, and that's why I really met John Pajak, who's one of my other mentors. He's an amazing guy, heart of gold, just like you and Naylor. I've learned so much from Profits with Pajak, and the turning point was meeting everybody. And I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get everybody's cell phone number, but you're going to get face to face with people that know what they're doing. You're going to get to meet brand people. You're going to get to meet the people that make the products. Tell them what you like about it. Tell them what you don't, because they listen. I first learned about Crest at the LCR Summit, so I'm going to be switching. My next trail is going to be going to Crest.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just realized that the battery power that Crest has, it's there. The recharge time, the guarantee for 6 years is amazing. It's quiet. People enjoy that. So meeting the people from Crest, like Meg and Todd, was amazing. I mean, like, it's just been going to the Equip Summit was, Equip Expo was awesome. I got to meet you. And then I've gone to all these different things. I'm part of the Leanscaper community with Mark Bradley, and I'm switching over to LMN.
Our show is sponsored by Toro Horizon 360.
Oh,
you can't mention them, but if you
I won't.
Hey, but the principle is, whatever CRM you use, whether it's what we recommend, which would be Horizon 360, or and I'm not allowed to mention the other ones, so I'm not going to mention the other ones.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, for your billing, for your operational management, you have to have a CRM. Like, it's crazy, Allen, how many companies out there, their home base isn't a CRM. So how has that helped you? And of course, we would encourage you to get Horizon 360 by Toro, but there's 5 or 6 main ones that are out there, but you need one of them. And how has having a CRM helped you?
So I started with another one.
We're gonna name any names. I want to get an email.
No names.
The show is sponsored by Horizon.
I am a Toro fleet member, if that helps.
Go. Okay.
Between the multi-force and the spreader spray with all the attachments.
We love Toro.
Toro's awesome.
And John Deere's awesome too. I know you have a John Deere mower. I mean, people are like, what company's better, this one or that one? There's so many.
Whatever fits.
Yeah, but there's so many good companies in our industry. It's like a John Deere mower, a Toro mower, a Crest battery powered equipment. I mean, it will all get the job done. But back to implementing a CRM. Sorry to get long winded there.
So the CRM is great. It manages your clients. It sends invoices. I do all my billing through it. You need to have a CRM. You need to stay on track. You need to keep a schedule. You need to inform your clients with automatic, hey, Mrs. Jones, we're going to your property tomorrow. This is your reminder. Call me if you have any questions, or sending out a professional quote. It's a game changer. A lot of guys around me, I have a lot of really good landscaping companies around here that I refer out if they do a better job at something than I do. We're all friendly. It's not a competition. There's so much work around here. But a lot of them aren't even doing, they're not even using CRMs. And I'm like, you need to use something. I'm like, giving somebody a quote over the phone. That's the old school thinking. Like, get with the program. Like,
Well, and even if you want to attract a like a higher income client, like a professional, someone who's pretty smart in business, if they get a quote over the phone or on some sheet of paper from Pookie, and then Alan, sends them a nice. But Pookie always makes his way onto the show,
yeah,
but
he's the
then you.
best. Shout out to Lamont.
Oh man, but then you get an estimate or quote from you, which is all professional looking. Like you look like you're a big company, like a big operation, LaMere Landscaping. Like wow, uh, even if the price is the same or whatever, your perceived value of professionalism, they're gonna roll with you. And then if you can get a card on file and they don't have to worry about paying you, like that, they don't want to get a text or an email. Hey, Mrs. Smith, you owe me $45 from cutting your grass yesterday. No, you just put it a card on file and they don't have to worry about it. Just like I can't tell you what my last power bill was, or I don't even know what day it comes out. It's just every month the power bill takes the $82 or whatever it is, $88 out of my account. And I don't have to think about it. The only time I ever have to think about it is actually I never think about it. And
Yep.
that's how they want their lawn.
Yeah, so I learned this from Cornell Mac, and I charge people right when I leave your property. I hit job complete.
Mm-hmm.
It charges the card on file. That money's right there. I don't follow anybody. If you don't want to leave a card on file, then you're not my ideal client. I don't have time to chase people. And then it takes away from them, like for them to go and pay a bill online. They don't want to do that either. So for people that don't think that you can charge a card on file, you absolutely can. Every other industry does it. You go out to eat, you pay right away. You go to Dunkin' Donuts. Shout out to Dunks. This is a Boston thing. If you got to pay. Any other industry, my plumber will come. I have to give him a check or a credit card right when he comes. So don't put that off.
2015 was 10 years ago. You talk about YouTube University. I was in YouTube University as a student for good old Paul Jameson Lawn Care back in 2015. Anyway, I would watch, and it's the best channel on YouTube. There's not even a second comparable close. Nothing's comparable to this channel. It's by Jonathan Potoshnik. His new channel is called 5 for 50, where
That's amazing.
where he teaches if you will do what he teaches for 5 years, the next 50 years of your life, or if you're in heaven by then and your family's still on the earth, like you'll literally get like 50-year reward for the next 5 years if you go all in on building a business properly. Is his where he's coming from 5 for 50. Well, anyway, his channel used to be called Just a Lawn Care Millionaire. But anyway, back in 2015, he was teaching and yelling. I mean, he doesn't yell, but he was being very bold that you need to get your customers card on file. And he changed his billing policy. He owns a company called City Turf. They do about 15 million a year in annual revenue. In 2015, so this is 10 years ago, their billing policy was they don't collect any checks. They don't collect any cash. The only way you can be their customer is when they onboard you, you have to have a card on file. This is 2015. He's teaching this on YouTube. And he's like, if you want to be a City Turf customer, your card gets put on file. This was 2015. And I agree with Cornell Mac 100%. Who knows? Maybe he got it from listening to my show. It's neither here nor there. But there's several ways to do billing. And one of the ways to do billing is just you go on a Tuesday afternoon, you mow Mrs. Wilson's yard or fertilize her yard or whatever the service is performed. Before your truck pulls off of her street, you've already gotten paid. Depending on what CRM you're using, they're all slightly different, but you can just pretty much hit a button or two and bam, as long as the money's in her account, you're paid. And so you should never be at the end of the month and be like, oh, this customer owes me for 3 weeks worth of services or 4 weeks worth of services. That's absolutely horrible cash flow. And you'll be so stressed out about money because this is an example I use on my podcast, Allen. We got July is our next month coming up, I guess. So you go July 1st and you mow or you fertilize. Well, you will use mowing. And then you go the next week, the next week, the next week. So you go 4 times in any month, but we'll just use July. So now you've done 4 services and you haven't gotten paid anything. But you had to pay your worker, you have to pay your fuel, you have to pay for everything in your business, and then you send the invoice on the last day of the month, which is absolutely foolishness. Now, and then they don't even pay you for 2 more weeks later. So now 6 weeks have gone by of you putting truck in the equipment into the mowers, of you paying your laborers, of you running this business, and you haven't even gotten paid for work you did 4 to 6 weeks ago. That's absolutely I don't want to say it's not sustainable, but it'll stress you out. So either do what I do or, did back in, I started this in 2012. Okay. I would charge up front. So if I knew I was coming 4 times for the month, I would literally just charge on the first of the month for the whole entire month. So I was doing prepay. Okay. If you don't have that kind of courage, at least you charge the day you do the service at the minimum. But either of those cases, there's no gap between service provided and payment. You either get the money up front or you get the money the day you do the service. And then from there, it just comes down to budgeting of making sure your business is operating under what you're making, but the money should be in your account. And then that's a whole nother story of not blowing the money once you get it. But oh, we got a comment. You want to read that while I get a sip of water, Alan? Can you see that on the screen?
Sure. It says, keep learning and winning, Alan. Mike Yandy says a bunch of free courses. JP, which is John Patoshnik's channel 550, and keep up the hard work. Paul with the Green Industry Podcast. Thanks, Klein Lawn Care and Snowplow.
Thank you. Yeah. That's Klein Lawn Care and Snowplowing. Thank you for the kind words. Well, what's one hard truth or lesson that you did learn? It's like in basketball, you're on a fast break, you miss a layup, you gotta get back on D and you got another play. What's something where you kind of like, oh man, we kind of messed that up, but we're gonna fix that?
Probably not charging enough money. When you first start out, you want to make sure that you have clients, but you gotta kind of have to have a mix. You have to make sure you have the clients, but you have to charge so you're making profit. If you're not making profit, you're actually paying someone to mow their lawn, and that just doesn't make sense. So only charge what you know you need to make on that lawn, or to fertilize that lawn, and that you're making a profit, because at the end of the day, you have to feed your family and do nice things and go on vacations. And then once you start hiring staff, you got to do the same thing for them. You have to be able to pay them a livable wage, more than livable wage. You want them to enjoy coming to work. You don't want them to have to be worried about money. That's going to affect how they work for you. So if you can pay them more than that they'll make somewhere else, they're going to do a better job. You're going to grow your reputation as being a really good place to work for. You just got to charge the right amount. So I learned that from Proverbs by Pajak, and now I call him a friend, John Pajak.
Yeah. Before he really got into the well, I guess the amount of customers he has and the amount of people he's helping and all of that, probably about 2016, I was just, he could tell I was stressed out about money. And he was like, hey, let's do, basically he has like a 4-hour thing called budgets, break evens, and bottom lines. But I don't think it was called that back then. It was just like, pull together all my checking accounts and all my banking information and give John a call. And we were on the call for hours, but he's like, okay, last year, how much did you spend on fuel? And I would just look at all my stuff and added it all up. It's like, okay, I spent this on gas last year for my company. How much did you spend? And we literally went through every expenditure that's in the business. And then we looked at like how many hours I'm working, which in Georgia, you can work year round. I know it's different in Boston,
Yeah.
but anyway, he's running all these calculations and then he's like, well, if you have a 2-man crew or if you have a 3-man crew, because I was teeter-tottering between 2 or 3, and I'm a laborer. I'm Andy Mulder style. I'm out there working with the guys. So anyway, he had these calculations. He's like, here's your break even for 2-man crew, and here's your break even for 3-man crew if you want to pay yourself X amount of salary and all this stuff. And it was so much higher, Alan, than I was charging, right? What I was making rather.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And it was the wake up call. Well, I wasn't anywhere close to charging what I should have been. I was so underpriced it was scary. But John helped me help me face reality. And go ahead.
Yeah, he even takes it to a next level. It's not just that; it's also equipment recovery cost. It's yep. Now I'm putting money off every job for future equipment to replace the equipment that I'm using. You wouldn't have thought about that if you didn't know anything about how to manage your business, and it's so you're making enough to cover your bills, to pay your employees a good wage, and you're also putting money away for taxes, and you're putting money into future expenditures to grow your business and to replace equipment. You should, as a business owner, you shouldn't have to worry about money. If you are, then I mean, you should always have that doubt and be cognizant of your numbers and make sure that you're paying attention to it. But what's the point of running a business if you're stressed out about money? Basically, is you get to charge what you're supposed to,
and
people pay for it. So
yeah, and you'll know. There's this like test of that I did, and again, this is like 10 years ago. But I was like, I'm going to really raise my prices until I start getting so many no's that then I know I got to start coming down.
Yeah.
So I would just start going up, 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 up. And then I remember specifically back-to-back customers that were like, that's just way more than everyone else is charging, Paul. And they told me no. And then this one lady, I went out and I gave her a quote, and she seemed to love me. And she's talking about, can you get started on Tuesday, this, that, and the other. And then I give her the quote. And then she literally ghosts me. Like I'm following up. And she is like ghost me. Like my price was so high. And then the string of no's continued. It was like, no, 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 no. So then I was like, okay, now I have to come back down until I get a mixture of yeses and nos. But if all you're getting is yeses, then your price is way too low, because they would have, let's say you charge $75 per maintenance or service, and they would have paid 85 or 90 or 100, but you didn't know that. And so what Jonathan Potoshnik teaches, and I agree with him 100%. And again, if you guys are new to listening to me, there's somebody way smarter than me in this industry. This is who I learned from. Okay. I literally, once Jonathan, his nickname's JP, Naylor and I got to have dinner with him like a week and a half ago.
I heard about the Wagyu.
So JP's, let's just estimate he's worth over $100 million. I don't know, but at least $100 million. So he's like, yeah, let's get some Wagyu. You guys like Wagyu? And Naylor like, yeah, let's try Wagyu. And Naylor's paying for it. So JP's like, yeah, bring us some Wagyu. It's $90 just for the appetizer. And it was only 6 little slices, like little, like I'm talking. And so Naylor had 2, I had 2, JP's, I have the Wagyu. We're like, it's good. And then we all order steaks, which were like $75 each. And then you have to pay for the appetizer separately. So like we got asparagus and mashed potatoes and all these things. Like it's not like Ruby Tuesdays where it's all on one plate. It's all this stuff's coming individually. So then the guy brings the bill out and he starts shaking everyone's hand. He's like, such a pleasure serving you. And then Naylor's like, I'll take the check. And JP's like, oh, what? And he's like, I wanted to order the Wagyu then. And then he's like, thank you, Mr. Naylor. And he shakes his hand like, oh man, this is going to be a big check. And Naylor looks at it and puts his card in there. And oh man, I was just thinking, whoo-wee. I'm glad I didn't pay. I joke with Naylor. I was like, they would have come back and be like, excuse me, sir, do you have another card? that one didn't work. I don't know what that bill was, but we ate like kings, man. But I before I shared that story, my thing JP is like, he's like, if you don't know what to charge, find out what the companies in your area who've been around for a while, just find out what they're charging and copy that. Like, what are they charging per yard of mulch installed? And you could literally just call them and just say, hey, I live at this address. You know, I typically get about 5 yards of mulch. What would your price be to deliver 5 yards of mulch and spread it for us? And just call around town, like, just find out what they're charging. It's not that complicated. If you can sneak into the Boston Garden, you can find out what your competitors, not Pookie, not Rick's Lawn Care, but like the really nice customers in your area, probably not customers, companies in your area that have been around for a while. Do investigative research and find out what they're charging and just copy them. And then in the meantime, in between time, you can learn from John Pajak. You can learn your own numbers, and then you can make your prices based off of where you're at. But if you're just starting out, just copy what the best in your city are doing.
Yep. So my mowing route was pretty full. So now if people calling me for a quote, they're not going to get a number that I would normally charge. It might be 20% more than normal. And if they say yes, then great. If too many people say yes, then it's like, oh man, I messed up this spring and I didn't charge enough from the get out. But and then what I did last year was at the end of the year, I talked to all my clients, the people that after I talked to John Pajak, and realized what I need to charge per hour per lawn. Another big thing is track how long it takes you to service a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and actually pay attention to that information. If you have a CRM, a lot of them do it for you. So you know how long you're on that property. You know how many employees you have working that property. And get rid of the people that aren't making enough money, or tell them, say, hey, this is what I have to charge you. And sometimes it's hard. Like one of my favorite properties last year, I just didn't charge enough, and it's right near my house, and I'm really good. I'm very friendly with her, and I just told her, I said, I can't cut it for the price I was charging. I'm like, it was cost me $6 a week to cut your lawn.
I'm paying you to cut your grass.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a wake up call. And like $6 doesn't seem like a lot, but that's not even making any profits. I'm paying her to mow her lawn, and I could have been someone else's lawn, mowing and fertilizing and doing all the other stuff, and not just mowing her lawn. I could have been doing everything else for somebody else and giving them, more value.
Yeah. Well, but if you're not tracking your time, if you don't know how many minutes you're on each customer's property, then you don't know that information. It's very simple to track. Like if you have a 2-person crew, let's say you're there for a half hour, you just multiply that, because there's 2 people there. You multiply that by 2. So that would be 1 man hour. So 30 minutes with 2 people is 1 man hour. Now, if you're there for 30 minutes and you're solo, like Tony Rudolph, or just works by himself, he's my friend in Lake Oconee, Georgia. If a property takes him 30 minutes, then that's just a half a man hour. But you need to know how long each property takes you, what you're charging that customer, and then what the breakdown is on those prices, which is pretty simple math. But we got to hear a word from today's show sponsor, Allen. So we're gonna hear a quick message right on cue from Equip. We'll have more with Allen LaMere coming up right after this.
You have got the rights to see everything across the industry, everything that is out there.
It changed my life. If you've never been here, you got to come here. You got to check it out.
It's different every year.
There's something here for everybody.
The future, it's out there.
It's where I found my people.
For everybody to be at one location is epic.
It's more than just a show. It's an event.
It's truly like none other.
You can meet new people. You get your hands on new equipment that you've never ran.
You get to touch it. You get to drive it. You get to feel it. You get to compare it.
There's no reason not to come.
Hands down, the best experience.
It's just great to have everything under one roof.
You have to be here to experience it.
There's so much to learn. There's so much to see.
Whatever you need, they got it.
You got to be here in person.
I definitely recommend it. If you're not here, you're losing money in the long run.
Well worth it.
It's 100% everything you can possibly think and more.
Pretty nice video. Could you see that on your end, or?
Yeah, it's a pretty good video.
Yeah. So shout out to the Equip Expo. They are coming up October 21 through 24, year 2025 in Louisville, Kentucky. If you guys want to save 50% off your ticket, you can use the promo code Paul. And how that works is at equipexposition.com. You just click on registration, and they have, when you're filling it out, there's a little entry thing that says promotional code. If you literally type my name in there, Paul, your ticket price will go down by half. So right now tickets are $30. So if you type in promotional code Paul, your ticket will go down half, which would be 15. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So that's a big savings, because if you get your tickets at the door, and I pay attention to this, Alan, but tickets are $120 at the door in person. So I was standing on the escalator last year watching people come in and who were buying their tickets like on site. And like I was watching people come in with like groups of 4 and 5. They're paying $500 for their team to go to equip. And that was just for one day. And I was like, man, if they would have just used promo code Paul and gotten their ticket for $15 each, they could have had their whole team there for less than what they paid for one ticket for because they waited to the last minute. So don't let that be your story. Get your tickets at Equip Expo. And while we're on Equip, I think if you don't get your hotel booked now, you might stay at the Red Roof Inn, where I stayed my first year. Where did you stay last year?
I'm at the Galt House again for this year. So that's a nice hotel right downtown. There's shuttles that take you to and from the expo, but I don't think there's a lot to do around the expo. There's a few hotels and stuff out by the airport, but I want to be more downtown. Plus, I brought my wife with me last year, and she likes to go shopping, and we like to go out to eat and spend time together. So,
and I've stayed both at around the Kentucky Exposition Center. Don't stay at that Red Roof Inn. That was crime-ridden and sketchy. Pajak kind of made me feel safe because he was in the room literally next to me, so I kind of felt like, and he drove down from Indiana, so he had his firearms and all of that. But well, anyway, and Pajak's a pretty, like, if there's one guy that you want to come save you from a fight, it's John Pajak, or a sketchy situation. Because he's got a heart to go. Like literally, if I had one call, if I was in a back alley and someone's like, I don't know what they'd say in the back alley, but if I had one person to call and save me, I'd call John Pajak. So.
He'd either fend the person off or give him a hug.
Yeah, either way, he'd free you from trouble. But we were in trouble at the Red Roof Inn, and you guys laugh, but I was so broke the first year I went to Equip. It was called GIE Plus Expo back then, but I was so broke. I was like, everyone's like, you should come. And like, I wanted to come all year, but then I was like, I'm broke. Like, I don't even know if I can afford to go and then whatnot. But I went at the last minute. I'm like, I'm going. Like this, I want to go so bad. And I went, and all the good hotels were taken. Not that I could have afforded them, but my friend Jay Rizzi Landscape, and he's like, oh man, they got newly renovated rooms at the Red Roof Inn, and it's making it sound all nice. And I get there and I'm like, oh man, it was sketchy, ghetto. But there's a Hilton Garden Inn that's right next to the Kentucky Exposition Center. That was probably sold out, honestly, but that one's safe and good and close. But downtown, there's the Galt House, there's the Marriott, there's I think the Omni.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch down there. And the problem with staying down there is, though, you have to drive or take the shuttle about 6 or 7 miles to the Kentucky Exposition Center. But I grew up in Atlanta, and even here in Tampa, there's traffic. So I'm like, Louisville traffic ain't that intimidating. I mean, it is going to take you 25 minutes or 20 minutes to go 6 miles, but
you're there all day. It's not.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, but I personally stay downtown.
And it's an easy place to walk around. Go check out the restaurants, take a walk, enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's warm, but be warmer than Boston.
Yeah, but be way cooler than sunny South Florida. I love it down here, Alan. I love it. I look down my window, it's sunny. There's the Gulf of America.
Every time I put on your podcast or your especially your golf YouTube, and you're just in the sun, and it's like February the middle of winter and you're like, it's beautiful down here. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, when I moved down here, so they have different kind of license plates. Like you can pick from like 3 or 4 different like styles. I don't know how it is in Massachusetts, but the license plates, like you get to pick which kind you want. And one of them, the background of the license plate says endless summer, and it's got a sunshine, or not sunshine, it's like the sun. I mean, it's the logo of the sun, or image of the sun. And then it's got some guy holding like a surfer board thing. And it just says endless summer. And that was the first time I had ever heard that phrase or whatnot. And a lot of people have that license plate, believe it or not. But what's crazy is now that I've lived down here, I realized there's only one season. It's summer every day. So there's no fall. There's no cool day. There's no clearly there's no winter. It's just every day is sunny and hot. Like in the winter, it was like 70s and 80s. And then now it's 90s. So like you go outside and you just start sweating. It's like 90.
I think you just picked out the name of your boat.
What's that?
Endless Summer.
Endless Summer.
Yeah.
That's good. Right now, my bank account and boat doesn't equal the same reality. But one day, hopefully, your boy will have a boat. We can do a mastermind on the boat.
Yeah.
You can come down, and Naylor can come out. Payjack, Cornell, whoever wants to come. We can go do a business. That way, you can write it off. Your accountant's like, what's this? You went to Florida and went on Paul's boat? Yeah, we were talking business out there in the Gulf of America.
Yeah, your financial coach, she was talking to you about not getting a boat. She's like on one shoulder, I'm on the other shoulder.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Tell them the story, because you got shut down hard on that.
Yeah. Obviously, a boat's probably it's either a great investment or a bad investment. I mean, I live in Lakeville and we have boats, but nothing like what you guys have down there. And I just have like a little fishing boat, 16-footer. Me and my son will spend the whole weekend on it if we could. And but you're looking for a yacht, that you can sleep on and travel around. That's what you need to do. So
yeah.
But she told me to basically, without telling me to stop telling you to do that, she told me it's not a good investment. So
well, you said YOLO, right?
Yeah, YOLO. Yep.
You only live once, and she's tight on my budget. So to give a little context, I hired this woman. Her name's Layla Cartaforos. She has a YouTube channel called Debt Over It.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And I watched her YouTube videos like a year ago, and then I hired her. So we meet at the last day of every month, or if it's like on a weekend, like whatever the last weekday is of every month. And she'll look at all my expenditures, which I personally track throughout the month. And then she'll like, okay, how much money did I spend on eating out, which is called food out in her spreadsheet? How much did I spend on groceries? How much did I spend on all my expenses, both personally and in the business? So we look at everything. And then we look at what my goals are, how much I'm saving for taxes, like the whole financial picture. So about half a year ago, I was like, hey, Layla, there's a Freedom Boat Club, which you get to rent a boat. Do they have that
up here? Yeah, we have that up in Boston, up in the harbor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could rent, if I'm in Boston, I could, and I want to go out in the harbor with Allen. If I had the Freedom
Boat, can take us out for dinner at one of the steakhouses. You can, I can take your boat and
we can dock it and get steak, get some Wagyu. So they have it down here, which I live right by the bay and the Gulf of America. So it's like the bay opens up into the Gulf of America. That's kind of how that works. But they got all the boats down there. So I could go get the Freedom Boat Club, and I could just make my reservation, and then you just walk down there and you literally just step on the boat and go. And then when you return it, they help you dock it, and then they just charge your card for the fuel, however many gallons you used out there on the Gulf, or a lot of people drive it on the bay. The bay is pretty big here. So anyway, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting that. She's like, yeah, I don't think you can afford that right now. And I was like, oh, come on, I really want it. So every month I ask her, hey, you think I have enough margin in my budget? Like, am I making enough money that I can afford the Freedom Boat Club? And so far I've been like 0 for 6 or 0 for 7, however many months she's told me no. It's actually probably been 8 or 9 months. And then we're on YouTube and now, or I don't know if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, but Alan's like, you should go get it. You know, you only live once. And she's like, no, Paul. So it's a hard no at the moment. But that's what's motivating about making more money. Like I want to have it. It's just it would financially be stupid for me right now because the my expenses in my business and my income is like the income's bigger than the expenses, but it's not like it needs to be like where you can do it. And if things don't work out financially, you're still not in danger.
Yeah. One of Amber's bosses, she works for 2 doctors at a concierge medical office, and he's part of the Freedom Boat Club.
Oh, wow.
And so sometimes every summer they'll go out and go out on the harbor, and he loves it. But I don't think he's as frugal as you.
Yeah, when I'm working on being more frugal, it's just math, and I can't afford it right now. But the thing about Florida is we have year-round boating. Like it's in Boston, I feel like, and I don't know if they charge you year-round like they do down here. I'm sure they do because that guy can come down here and check it out. But you know, it's like every day is a good day to go boating. Now my buddy Mark, he's got the Freedom Boat Club, so we're in a group text with all my neighbors. So he just texted on next Saturday. He's like, hey, who wants to go out on the boat? And I said, count me in. So I'll be free 99. And Mark's got the Freedom Boat Club membership.
Yeah, I'll send you a video later. When I was in Miami in April, it was actually the first week of mowing, and I went to a conference down there, and Ann was like, you're going to miss the first week of mowing? She's like, you're going to let you guys do that? I'm like, it's just mowing lawns. Like, we're not doing anything important. We're not like curing terminal illnesses. Like, the guys got it. And it showed them, actually, it was great. It showed them for the rest of the year that they can be on their own, and it gave me the confidence to let them do it too. But we're down there on a Tuesday, and during the conference, it was a lunch break, and I went outside around 1 o'clock, and we're right on the harbor in Miami, and I'm going to send you the video, and there's like it's a Tuesday afternoon, and all the people are dancing on a boat. I'm like,
man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now Miami, I've never been to Miami. I live in Sarasota, Florida, which is like, I would say a little bit more low key. Miami's kind of the party town. This is more like families come on vacation here, a lot of older folks. But there's a lot of money. Like if I go on a walk, I will see either a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Bentley, pretty much guaranteed I'll see one of those vehicles if I just go on a 1 or 2 mile walk, or multiple of those. I mean, every time it's just wild. And then they got this restaurant I walked by last night that had a Rolls Royce that sits out front, but you can order the Rolls Royce to come pick you up in case you want to consume alcohol or whatever reason you'd want to ride. They'll pick you up in a Rolls Royce. They'll drive you to the restaurant and then park it on the curb. Here, I'll text you a picture of it real quick. I don't know how to bring it up on the screen, but I took a picture of this last night when I was out on my walk. Let's see here. And I know you listening on TV listening on the podcast can't see this, but let's see here. There's the picture. Allen LaMere. All right, I just texted it to you. So that white Rolls Royce will pick you up. You could take your wife out to dinner. And then they pull right up on the curve. Did you get the picture?
Yeah, that's nice.
And then you eat dinner, and then you get back in the driver will open the door for you and take you home in the Rolls Royce.
I'm more of a Ferrari or a Corvette or something.
Yeah. Now those jokers,
Corvette.
Those jokers wake me up at night because it's like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and you can hear the Ferraris and Lamborghinis and the Corvettes and whatever those muscle cars are that are going like, and I'm thinking they designed those to go like 120 miles per hour, like 90. Like you're going slow if you're going like 90. And around here, there's no highways. It's just these little 25 mile per hour, 45 mile per hour streets, and these guys are just like, and I'm like, I'm trying to sleep, man, and I like get so mad.
Well, at 3 a.m, you've already been asleep for like 8 hours. So
Yeah, I know. Today I woke up early, but still it wakes me up when they show off their cars late at night. But the
Yeah.
Rolls Royce and the Bentleys, those ones I feel like are more just the rich people flexing, but they're not as loud. They're just kind of quiet cars.
Yeah.
Aston Martin, those things are down here too. What did Klein say this time, Alan? Can you see that?
Yeah, so Klein Lawn Care and Snow Plowing. The 2 best days of owning a boat, I'm told, is the day that you buy it and the day that you sell it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking about buying one. I was thinking about renting one from the Freedom Boat Club, but it's $4 to $5 grand to join one time, and you don't get that back. And then you pay like $400 a month, and then you pay on top of that. You pay your fuel consumption. So
Yeah.
whatever you use, they'll conveniently charge your card on file. So. What advice do you have, Alan? And let me know if you got to get going. I know you got a family and
Yeah, we're just doing some yard work today, and soccer season wrapped up. So, yeah, if you go on my Instagram, I put up a good post about my son. I'm one of his soccer coaches, and my daughter, she's a gymnast, so she's at the gym like 12 hours a week, and he's playing soccer. I say 10 days a week because he's on a club and a travel team. So that just wrapped up yesterday. So we're starting to slow down on the weekend, so that's good.
That's good. Well, I had a follow-up question I meant to ask earlier, but I'll ask it now because you were talking about pricing and the mistakes you made, but you didn't actually share the solution, if you will. So as you go into this year, what adjustments are you making? And like, can you help somebody who's like, I just don't know what I should be charging? Like, what did you learn, and what would your advice be to somebody who's like, I feel like my prices are too low, but how do I know what to charge?
So you have to track your time on each job. You have to know how long it takes. You have to know what it costs you to be on that property, from your truck payment and all those payments. You should be, when you own a truck, just to go out every day, you need to know what it's going to cost you for those 8 or 10 hours of overhead just to go out to work that day, including your labor. And then you need to know your profit margin. You need to know what taxes you're going to be paying, and you need to be setting aside money for maintenance and repairs and future purchases. So track your time on properties, know what it costs you to run your business, and make sure that you're paying your people a good rate. You just got to track your time. Another really good thing that I think Sam Gamble told me about this last winter was, you shouldn't be the one driving. If you're a small person and you only have you and one other helper, put that person in the driver's seat of the truck. That frees up time for you to answer calls, to do quotes if you have a CRM that can do it mobile, and then let them drive the truck and trailer. Not only does it teaches them while you're with them that they can do it, but if, for instance, if you have to go away or take a vacation, you can still make income because that person's still out. Now they have the confidence to be running that truck and that trailer. If you're the only one driving it and they're just the passenger and they're doing the trimming, you're not teaching them anything. You have to teach people how to be leaders and how to do everything that you know how to do. They have to be able to do it the way you want to do it. Attention to detail, focus on their clients. You got to get out of the field. Like, if you want to grow and you don't want to be in the field, some people want to be in the field, and that's good. I enjoyed being in the field, but I know if I want to grow, I need to not be in the field. So actually Friday, 2 days ago, was my first day not doing any work. I didn't mow. I didn't spread mulch. I didn't do anything. I had my 2 trucks out there. I had a new guy working for me. I was showing him how to do things with one of my other new employees. And then my employee from last year, he was out prepping or mowing or prepping a mulch bed for another job that we were going to do that afternoon. And I was just making sure that they had everything they needed. I was able to go on a few quotes and a few estimates. And then I was on a few properties where I could speak to the homeowner and I wasn't rushing around. I wasn't saying, oh my God, this lady's talking to me for half an hour. I got to go. Like, I don't have time for this. I was able to talk to her and further that relationship. And it's all the little things. People don't want just someone to cut their lawn. Some people do. Some people don't want a relationship. Some people want to know the people that are on their job. So that's my biggest advice is you got to make sure you're charging appropriately, or else you're not going to be in business for long. And if you don't have the clients that want to pay you what you deserve or what you're worth, then they're not your client. So there's other people out there that are.
Yeah, that's good. And where do you see your business heading kind of these next 2 to 3 years? Like, where are you trying to take this thing?
So when I say my goal next year is to have 4 trucks, that's conservative. I'm at 2 now. We added one over the winter. My goal is 4, but I think we could probably put 6 trucks. But the only way to do that is to train people, to create leaders, hire the right people. It's kind of like walking a tightrope. You have to have the employees that can do the job, but you also have to have the jobs coming in. So you have to have the leads coming in. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the employee or is it the work? You don't want to take on too much work where you're not able to do what you promised for your current clients. So always hire the right people, hire fast, and fire fast if you can. Always have people ready to come work for you. I'm going to hire people. I'm going to teach them my way. And then I'm going to create a network of people that work for me that are able to do what I can better than me. My favorite part about working in lawn care is probably working with people. I can talk to anybody. Some people don't like to talk to people. So if you don't like to talk to people, don't go into sales. Hire someone that can do sales once you're big enough to be able to pay them. But I think that's what I can do. I could probably hire someone to do operations the next few years. But right now I have to do all that, but I can't do that if I'm mowing the lawns every day or if I'm doing the mulch jobs. I'm going to grow my fertilization side of it as quick as possible. So starting this year, any of my new clients, they have to have a fertilizer plan, either through me, or if they want to do DIY, that's great too, because I want people to have an interest in their lawn also. So I give value. Actually, Klein Lawn Care, Klein Lawn Care asked, what are some ways you're providing value to your employees? First, I'll touch on the client part of it. If I'm out there mowing lawns, or as a company we're mowing their lawn and they don't have a weed control and fertilization plan, what's that property going to look like in the summer? Is it going to be dry? Is it going to be dusty? Are we just cutting grass to cut grass? I don't want to do that. I want them to come home to a property that they're proud of, that their kids enjoy, a nice thick green lawn. I can't do that if we're just mowing and blowing and trimming. So this winter I realized everyone has to have fertilization. If they don't believe in fertilization, then I can give them an organic option, or they can hire someone else. You're also putting your name on that lawn also, because people see your trucks there. If you're not making that lawn better than it was when you left it, or when you got there, and when you left it, then they're not going to hire you. So the value that you give a client is you're doing what they're paying you to do, and they never have to worry about anything ever again. And that's where I'm going with that. So, and then client said, what are ways you're providing value to your employees? I'm paying my employees a lot of money. Probably I've checked with other employees I don't want to poach anybody. Like in restaurants, we didn't poach employees. If they want to come work for me on their own, then that's great. But I want to be known as someone that pays someone very well. I don't want to ever yell at an employee for doing something wrong. That's not what they came to work for. If it's people make mistakes, but eventually I'll get to the point where I can provide insurance. I can't do that yet. A retirement program, even in an ownership stake. If I could do that, that'd be amazing. But they have to be able to go home and buy groceries and pay their bills and be able to go on vacation. So actually something that I haven't told any of my employees this year is I'm putting away money every week so that way when they go on vacation, I wasn't able to do this last year, that they're still going to get a paycheck. They shouldn't have to work. I'm going to tell them soon, once I'm sure that this is going to work, which it's June now, and I know it's going to work based on, I wasn't sure in March or April if I'd be able to, based on how much I was going to grow this year. But I'm going to tell them soon, hey, if you take this vacation or two in the summer when we're slower, because all we're doing is mowing lawns. We're not doing any tree trimming or bush trimming or mulch installations. Take a vacation, and when you come home, there's going to be a paycheck for you. So I don't think there's too many lawn care companies around my area that are paying for vacations for hourly employees.
That's good. And thank you for hanging out. I know Klein Lawn Care and Snowplow, and they've been hanging out with us here for a solid hour or so. So thanks for tuning on in to the Green Industry Podcast. And thanks everyone who's been watching on Facebook. I was just looking this morning, Alan. We have 18 million views on Facebook the last 38 days, which is just mind-blowing.
That's wild, yeah.
Yeah, 18 million. It was like 16 million, 17 million, 18 million has been like the average, which is just wild. But it's encouraging. So we got friends over there, and then we got haters. It all counts towards the 18 million, though. We got a little mixing plot.
Yeah, just ignore the haters. They're not worth your time.
Well, if you like when you're creating something or you're building something and you're productive, you don't have time to criticize somebody else who, like so the people that are critical, I'm always just like, if you caught a vision for what you should be doing with your life, you like, I don't have time to say something negative about somebody else. I'm creating and building and creating and building and creating and building and being alive in this generation with social media and AI and all. I mean, even in the if you go to Equip, like all the technological advances, like there's so many opportunities. There's so many different ways to make money, to serve people. Well, I mean, that's how you make money. You serve somebody in some way, shape, or form, whether you fertilize their yard, whether you mow their lawn, whatever you do, you add some value, they'll pay you. There's just so many ways to do that. And then you get on the internet, and then there's keyboard warriors that seem to be telling you all the things you're doing wrong. But anyway, I'll get off my little soapbox there. So, is there anything we're leaving out here that needs addressed?
I don't think so. Trying to grow my Instagram account. I'm trying to give some DIY advice on there for my local clients. I'm trying to put out some cool videos of what we do. I'm going to try to learn how to get better content out there. And
I can give you a tip if you'd like.
Sure.
So this is for anyone listening who wants to have better social media content. Naylor and I just went to this event, Alan, and they had Adley was the lady's name. She's a viral. She teaches you how to go viral. And then there's another guy named Brandon Kane who teaches you how to go viral and studies videos. And then there's Myron Golden, who is the host of the event. But what they all said, Adley and Brandon Kane specifically, was that every video, the first 3 seconds, you have to have a hook that's going to create curiosity of somebody to want to watch the video. So they're scrolling, and they just keep scrolling until something catches their attention. And so whenever you put out a piece of content, you want to create a hook. Like, why should they watch this video? So what I've been doing since the event is I've been adding a text overlay hook. And I've literally been using ChatGPT. So I'll just say, hey, ChatGPT, here's my video. Like it's a golf video about like a new a new thing that picks up your golf balls. And so I made a video about that, and I was like, what should my hook be? And then ChatGPT gave me all these examples, but it was like, why didn't we have this sooner? That was the hook. So at the beginning of my video, I just put a text overlay, which is simple to do in Instagram. You just add text, and then you do the duration. So I did the first like 4 seconds. So at the beginning of the video on the screen, it says, why didn't we have this sooner? So when someone's scrolling through social media and they see that, they're like, well, why didn't we have this sooner? What is it? And they're like, it sparks curiosity. And then the video had like over 300,000 views. I was like, let's go. So anyway, with your videos, just add a hook, like 3 or 4 seconds of text, like biggest lawn mistake, or what I wish I knew, or avoid this mistake, or something like that. And literally just use chat. Do you ever use ChatGPT?
Yeah, I pay for the $20 subscription or whatever it is.
And there's Grok, there's Claude, there's whatever one you want to use. I know some people, whatever, but just ask ChatGPT, say, hey, here's my video. We're out mowing a front yard. Can you give me a creative hook that I can put as a text overlay on my video and share with me 10 examples? And then ChatGPT will tell you, and then boom, add that, and then your video views will skyrocket.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I did that yesterday with one. We mowed like a big overgrown lawn, and I was like, how did we turn this? And then the next one is into this, and it was like the finished product, and then it was basically how we did it. It was good, yeah.
Yeah, before and afters are good. Yeah. And just throwing some music in the background too, and just showing mowing that's oddly satisfying can work. So, but with social media, that's the last thing I'll say, and then I gotta land the plane here. But it's consistency. So just post as much as you can, like as much as you possibly can. Post, and you'll get better with each video, and you'll see, okay, that flopped, that flopped, that flopped, that flopped. Oh wow, that video had 300,000. Why did that one do so good? Oh, my hook was really good. So then just doubling down on that. So
yeah, I remember that last year at the LCR Media Summit when you were up there speaking, and you were like going through all of our Instagram accounts, and you're like, that's trash, fix that. So by the end of that like hour thing, we all had fixed our profile to what it
and then Grant and Sons, they went bonkers after
they did it. Yeah,
after that event, they've been blowing up.
Yeah, I still see Kane and John on Nailers calls every week, and they're doing well. So yeah,
that's cool. Naylor's got a big announcement for you guys Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that call, and he's going to be going over what he learned at Myron's event last week, kind of what you just shared, but that should be good. Yeah,
he was. I just talked to him yesterday, and he was telling me about you guys and how it's been going. That's Naylor Arrows Inner Circle.
Yeah, that group's been awesome.
Yeah. How does that help you grow? Because you're in there with Mallard Landscaping from Arkansas, David, Caden and John, and Tim Allard. Who am I missing?
Tim Allard, Mark Allard, up in Vermont.
Vermont, yeah.
Yep.
And then you're in there, and Naylor, and you guys meet once a week, just the 6-7 of you, and chat business.
Yeah, every Thursday for an hour, maybe a little bit longer. Chat about business, what's working, what can we do. There's a little Facebook group that we can bounce questions off each other. But the biggest thing is that weekly call of coaching. So
that's great. And you think it's helped you get more focused?
Yep.
Love it. Well, how can people connect with you, Allen, on social media?
So Instagram, Allen LaMere. It's at Allen LaMere, ALLEN LAMERE. And then on my Facebook is LaMere Landscaping and Property Maintenance. But yeah.
All right. And thank you for everyone who's been watching on Facebook and on YouTube. Klein Lawn and Care and Snow Plowing. Thanks for all the questions. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this beautiful day. And as a reminder, if you're going to Equip Expo this year, you can get your tickets for a 50% off saving with the promo code Paul. So Mr. Producer will put that information in today's show notes. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope to catch you on the next one.